We spent so much of our lives learning how to earn money, how to save it, how to invest it. But what about actually spending it? So today, we're going to dive into the surprisingly complex art of using your money to live a happier life, drawing on some brilliant insights from Morgan Housel.
And this quote from comedian Jimmy Carr, man, it's the perfect way to kick things off. Because it just cuts right to the heart of the whole problem, doesn't it? So much of our spending is basically a performance for an audience that isn't even paying attention. And that whole idea that we're all performing for nobody, that leads us right into our first section, what we're calling the great spending paradox. In a world that is obsessed with getting rich, how come we're so bad at using that wealth to actually live better?
And this right here, this is the core of it. We just assume that a bigger house or a fancier car is the answer to our problems. But as Housel points out, that's usually a lie we tell ourselves to scratch a much, much deeper psychological itch.
I mean, think about it. In school, they teach finance like it's a science, right? It's all formulas and spreadsheets and definite answers. But in the real world, spending money is an art. It's messy, it's emotional, and it's deeply, deeply personal. It really reflects who you are and what you genuinely value.
So, why is spending so confusing for all of us? Well, a big part of the answer lies in this psychological trap that we all tend to fall into. Which brings us to our next section, playing the status game.
This really illustrates what psychologists call the spotlight effect. We drive our brand new car down the street and we're just positive everyone is staring, admiring us. But the truth? The person in the next car is probably stressing about their day at work or just wondering what to make for dinner. We're playing this intense, competitive game against people who don't even know they're on the field.
And when you dig down, our desire for all the nice things, it's almost never about the things themselves. What we're really trying to do is buy something we all crave, something you can't put a price on: respect, admiration, and just that feeling of belonging.
Okay, so how do we break free from this crazy status game? The key is to start building a totally different kind of asset. And nope, it has nothing to do with stocks or real estate. It's what this section is all about, your internal scorecard.
And that's the whole idea behind the internal scorecard. It's about learning to live a life that feels right and true to you without needing anyone else to approve of it. And, there's this incredible real-life story that shows just how high the stakes really are.
Let's travel back to 1968. Two sailors, a guy named Donald Crowhurst and another named Bernard Moitessier, both enter the exact same solo round-the-world yacht race. And their stories, side by side, show the life-or-death difference between living by an external scorecard versus an internal one. So you have Crowhurst, who is completely obsessed with the external scorecard. What would people think of him? He bet his reputation, his finances, everything on this race. And when he started to fail, the fear of public shame was so great that it drove him to cheat, to fake his position. He got so trapped in his own web of lies that he literally went mad and was lost at sea.
And then you have Moitessier. He was on track to win the whole thing. Fame, glory, prize money, the whole shebang. But as he got close to the finish line, he had this realization that none of that was what he actually wanted. So he famously slingshotted a message onto a passing ship, officially abandoned the race, and just kept on sailing for another half a lap around the world, simply because he loved it. He was living by his internal scorecard to, as he wrote, save his soul.
That story is just so powerful, right? It really shows what living by an internal scorecard looks like. So how do we apply that to our own lives? Well, this next section gives us a really practical tool, understanding the difference between utility versus status.
Okay, so pretty much every single thing you buy is doing one of these two jobs. Utility is all about what an item does for you, its function, the comfort it gives you. Status, on the other hand, is about what it signals to that imaginary audience. The real trick is knowing which one you're actually paying for.
This is a perfect example, right? You can get a fully loaded, top-of-the-line Toyota that's packed with high utility features, leather seats, great sound system, all the bells and whistles that make your life better. Or, for the same price, you could get an entry-level BMW. It might have fewer features, but what you're really paying a premium for is the status of that little blue and white badge on the hood and what you think it says about you to other people on the road.
And this brings up a really cool thought experiment Housel proposes. He calls it the deserted island test. If you are on a deserted island where absolutely no one could see you or what you owned, what kind of car would you drive? What clothes would you wear? You'd immediately, without even thinking, gravitate toward utility over status. And that reveals what you genuinely value.
So,
Once you start to get the whole status game thing and you begin to focus more on utility, that leads you to the ultimate goal here, which is building a personal spending philosophy that actually aligns your money with a life well lived. Housel lays out this really simple but super powerful framework. Step 1. Buy your independence. This is, hands down, the greatest thing money can buy. Control over your own time and your own options. Step 2. Spend on experiences. Because unlike a new phone that gets old, the memories from a trip or a great concert, they actually appreciate in value over time. They become part of you. And step 3, invest in relationships. Use your money to make it easier to spend quality time with the people who actually matter, because that's where true happiness really comes from.
And this all brings us to one last, really profound question that Housel calls the reverse obituary. What do you want people to say about you when you're gone? It probably won't be about the car you drove or the size of your house. It'll be about who you were as a person. And that's the real art of spending. It's not just about buying things. It's about using your money to become that person, starting today.